Welcome back. It's the third phase of Moon. My name's Blake Cousins, and we're here with our correspondent, team member, Dr. J. Andy Elias. We've been getting a lot of chatter. We've been kind of holding off on the story to see how this would kind of unfold in front of our eyes. But, you know, I finally wanted to share it on third phase of Moon because the mystery is breaking news, and it is unsolved. And it's in regards to this Malaysian jet airliner that pretty much disappeared in thin air. Dr. J, he's been jumping out of airplanes, you know, parachuting all the time for a long time in his life. He knows a lot about aircraft. What do you think of this? What do you take away as the big mystery? First off the top, what's the big mystery all about?
Well, there's several. First of all, that they can't find the plane, that the last radar pings they got was at flying at altitude. Now, the mainstream media today says they can't even have the presumption that it crashed anymore, which makes you wonder what else could be going on. And I've come to one of three conclusions. The first one being that those two people with the passports may have been terrorists, one, which they haven't ruled out. They're looking into it. The second could be related to the Devil's Triangle, which is basically the Pacific Ocean's version of the Bermuda Triangle, which has been sucking in ships, boats, airplanes, and all sorts of other things and people for hundreds of years, if not thousands. The third one could be related to an interview we did about a year ago with an Australian gentleman who's been abducted. Not only has he been abducted, he's been taken while aboard a commercial airliner. So this is a very interesting story for that.
You know, we've been receiving videos in regards to the UFO phenomenon for many years now, and I really like the ones that are shot from within an aircraft, and you see the UFO outside the window basically telling or, you know, stalking the aircraft. What it is, we don't know, but it's very interesting, and the videos speak for themselves. I wanted to ask you about some of the rumors that, well, people say, well, it crashed into the ocean, there's already evidence found, like a lifeboat or an oil slick left from the aircraft after it entered the ocean. What's the new updates on that?
You know, those were two clues that I thought were going to lead directly to the plane's wreckage, or, knock on wood, hopefully the plane as a whole. They've got to the oil slicks. It turns out, this is again coming straight from the mainstream media, the FAA, the NTSB, all who have volunteered their time to go out there and help the locals look for this. And they said that the oil is not consistent with an airplane, and it definitely is not consistent with a Boeing 777 Dreamliner. So they ruled that out. Then what they thought was a raft turned out to be regular trash. So that's both those clues. Again, this brings them now back to day one. The only difference is now 3 days has passed since this plane has disappeared from the face of this earth.
You know, exactly. The mystery is baffling to the mind of the, you know, present-day technology. You would think that, wow, all of a sudden the transponders shut off and radar hasn't picked up any kind of, like, erratic maneuvers or anything like that. In present technology right now, don't you think radar would have picked up the aircraft, you know, spiraling out of control?
Absolutely. That's exactly what I expected. First thing to happen when they realized the plane was gone, then looking at the radar reports and saying, okay, it was at 35,000 feet at 1732 hours, 1733 it was descending through 18,000 feet, and then finally ultimately zero. What they show here is that it was at 35,000 feet, next thing you know it's gone, and 0 feet. Last thing they also said was that an airplane also traveling in that direction said that this plane did make a turn to head back to Malaysia for whatever reason, but they didn't communicate that to anyone. If this did happen, I don't know if this is a rumor or not, but this is another thing that's going through the mainstream news that's saying another pilot confirmed that this plane did come back, or it was at least turning to come back when it dropped off. But there are transponders, and as a matter of fact, one of those who manufactures them came on, I believe it was on CNN the other night, and discussed that they have 30 days from the moment this plane is gone for the battery to be good. And because of that, there's no reason that this beacon should not be going off wherever this plane is. If this is at another airport because it's hijacked, well, then the beacon should be directing us there. If this is at the bottom of the ocean, the beacon should be directing us there, just like it did with Flight TWA 800. What's happening with this, I don't know. If the hijackers are in fact hijackers, assuming they are, if they knew what to do, what to shut off in the plane, then that could be a whole different scenario. But my guess is you can't even shut that flight recorder off, because it's in the avionics of the plane. I mean, what do? You have to literally start construction and opening a hole in the middle of the airplane while you're in flight. You can't do that without risking depressurization. So I highly doubt they would be able to manually shut off the transponder.
You know, it almost sounds like it, you know, dare say, just disintegrated in thin air. What some people are saying in the chatter that maybe the aircraft itself was, you know, abducted by a massive mothership. We've
that won't be a first time for that. That's for sure. I'll tell you that. In the past, we've had a very similar incident, just like we said when we interviewed David Dunger. And David Dunger, he discussed when he was on a flight that he was taken, the whole plane was taken. And now several other abductees also talk about a truck driver, for instance, in this one book written with several authors, one of them being our good old friend Stanton Friedman. And he wrote a chapter about his experience. He was at a truck stop. He wasn't hauling a trailer this time. And he woke up and he seemed to remember being in some sort of hangar where his whole truck was in there and so were other cars. So it's almost as if some giant craft came, scooped him up, brought them there for whatever reason. And I wouldn't put it past whoever's doing it, if it's an extraterrestrial or extra-dimensional race, to take the whole craft for a reason. And, you know, maybe they have several other people on board. But to not put it back, that's the baffling part.
You know, right here at Third Phase Moon, we keep an open mind. We're just wanting to share the story. We've had a lot of people share their incredible encounters during abduction while they've been on the airplane. In my opinion, maybe they will find evidence in the future that this aircraft went down and we will find the wreckage. But, you know, we're keeping it out there. I'm thinking it's most likely something bad happened and terrorism was probably behind it. Let's hope not. But something's not right here. The story is unfolding. We're going to keep on it. We're going to keep sharing information that comes into Third Phase of Moon in regards to this matter. Dr. J, any last words?
I just hope for the families in there, we keep their prayers going, and I hope that this comes to a good resolution and that it's not a tragedy.
Absolutely. Our prayers are with everybody in the family over there in Malaysia. This is, you know, when you're waiting at an airport and waiting for your loved ones to arrive and they don't show up, it you know, it breaks you. Everybody, stand by to Third Phase Moon. Keep your eyes on the skies. And if you capture anything amazing, submit it to us via Skype or Facebook, Third Phase of Moon. My name is Blake Cousins, and we'll see everybody again next time.
Third phase.